Welcome inside the D Event Center for high school rewind coverage of the 2015 5A Boys State Championship Basketball Tournament. Brought to you only on Xfinity On Demand. In the semifinals, we got a Region 1 matchup, Viewmont and Layton. Welcome, everybody. Dusty Lister with you. So glad to have you along with us. Viewmont's here after knocking off Lone Peak on a last-second three by Josh Richens, and they take on Region 1 foe, the Layton Lancers. They split the games in the regular season, but now the season is on the line. Which team will show up and play big? For Viewmont, against Lone Peak, it was Jake Walker knocking down 5 threes en route to the win. Johnson also had a nice game. He's had a terrific first 2 days of the state tournament. Take a look at Layton. As Jerice Blackman goes, the Lancers go. He got out to a hot start and continued it against the Bingham Miners. Julian Blackman, his brother, has been outstanding at the point for the Lancers. Those two will have to pace the way, or set the pace for the Layton Lancers. And they want to get past Viewmont and move on to this state championship game. It'll be Jerice Blackman jumping up against Austin Johnson. And we'll start with Julian Blackman bringing up the floor. Here's Steele Roberts. Steele Roberts to Watts down the angle to Blackman. Watts had just moved. Turnover, and we'll go back. We will go with Viewmont. After the turnover. Up the floor with the Vikings. Outside with Walton. Up top with Walker. Near side Eldridge. Eldridge back up top to Walker. Here's Walton. Now Johnson back to Walker. Walker to Eldridge. There's Austin Johnson put on the floor. Fall away shot off the mark. Rebound claimed by Jerice Blackman. He'll hand off to Julian, and back down the floor we go with the Lancers. Julian sent out to Dallin Watts. Up top, Jerice Blackman pulls for three. Back rim, and a rebound taken by Julian. In the corner, Watts drop it in to Jacoby Kemp. Now Watts back up top to Blackman on the angle with Steele Roberts. Along the baseline with Jerice Blackman. Move to the hole, left hand up, too strong. Rebound taken by Johnson on the push now with Eldridge. Johnson on the angle with Eldridge. Gets past Kemp, down the lane, sent out Johnson. That's a two-pointer, and that's good. Austin Johnson. Back down the floor with Layton. For the Lancers, it was a quick start to the season after the Utah Elite 8 tournament. They went on a big winning streak that was snapped by Viewmont. Layton had a chance to sew up the number 1 seed in region, dropped a 3-point game to the Vikings, and then lost to Davis, and they earned the number 2 seed. But they played well in the second round. The first round was a scary game against Hillcrest, where they were a little unfocused, went down the wire. Jerice Blackman turned it on, and the Lancers moved on to the second round and really played very, very well against Bingham as they beat the Miners twice this season. Long possession here for the Lancers. Up top, drop it in now. Blackman sent out to Roberts. Roberts back up to Watts. Now Julian drops in Jerice. Working on the baseline. Jerice sent out Roberts. Pulls for three. Off the mark. Rebound taken by Jameson Smith. Ahead now with Jake Walker. Walker along the baseline. Gets it off to Walton. Couldn't handle it. Tracked down by Johnson. Now up top to Eldridge. And they'll set up the offense for Coach Jeff Emery. 4:55 remaining in the first quarter. Here they picked off by Blackman. Mid-range 2 from Johnson off the mark. Roberts pulls it down and hands off to Julian Blackman. Lancers looking to get their first bucket. Watts up top to Blackman. Jerice sent along the baseline. Steele Roberts up top to Julian Blackman. Back to Jerice. Jerice again for three. And that goes in and out. And then taken by Eldridge. Quickly up the floor, Jameson Smith. Up top to Johnson. And now Walker. Walker hands off to Smith. Smith working on Watts. Sent out to Walton. A deliberate first quarter here from both Viewmont and Layton. Eldridge to Johnson for three. Johnson at the deck, no call. Push now with Dries Blackman. In the corner to Watts. Again, looking for their first bucket of the game. No fouls this far, so we've been moving pretty quickly. 3:45 remaining in the opening quarter. Roberts drop it in to Kemp. Kemp up top to Watts. Now Julian Blackman back to Watts. Baseline, Jacoby Kemp. Couldn't get it to go. Tipped up Blackman. No. Missed his first three shots here. Back down the floor with Viewmont. 3:25 on a rolling clock. Here's Walton. Walton dropped inside, slapped away by Roberts. Picked up by Kemp. And back down the floor with the Lancers. Julian sent out Dries. Watts thought about three, hangs on. Over to Julian in the corner, steal Roberts. He'll send it back up top. Back to Roberts in the corner, drop it in to Blackman. Dries gets in to Walton, couldn't get it to go. Rebound to Walton. And down the floor we go with Viewmont. Clinging to a 2-0 lead. Outside to Eldridge. Drop it into Johnson. Johnson fouled on the floor, first foul of the ball game. The inbound along the baseline. Walker to inbound. Lobs into Johnson. Out to Josh Richens. Hit the three-point shot that ended the 4-year reign of the Lone Peak Knights. Johnson faces up on Edwards. Sent back up Richens and now to Jake Walker. Richens. Now Hewish. Hewish over to Richens. Pulls for three. And that's short, and the rebound grabbed by Jules Blackman. Armistead along the baseline to Edwards. Kick out. Julian Blackman knocks down the first three. And Layton on the board, and they take the lead. If you haven't read it, go check out Trevor Phibbs' article on Josh Richens and his father. Terrific story and outstanding job by Trevor Phibbs, who's been out. He's a terrific writer here in the market of Prep Sports. Shot off the mark, rebound to Blackman on the push now with Julian. Julian reverses out in the corner to Armistead. Now Dries. Dries blow by off the window, leaves it short. Rebound Edwards, he can't get it to go on rebound. Taken by Walton. Ahead now with Jake Walker. This game begging for some pace. And Hewish can't get it to go. Rebound taken by Dries. He lined off Julian. And back down the floor will go. 1:05 on a rolling clock in the first quarter. A hilarious quote for Blackman when asked if Viewmont could shoot that the way they did against Lone Peak against Layton. And he said they always shoot like that. As Blackman gets his first points. And the future Gaucho gets on the board. And it's a three-point lead for the Lancers with 40 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Up the floor. And we got a foul away from the ball against Armistead. It'll be the second team foul on Layton. Hadlock comes on the floor for the Vikings. 35 seconds remaining in the quarter. Walker to Cole Hewish. Hewish up top to Hadlock. Now outside Richens. Drop it in. Johnson. Johnson floats it off the back of the rim. Rebound taken by Johnson. Back up, and he's fouled. And he'll go to the line to shoot two. Jacoby Kemp comes on as Johnson at the first free throw. He gets them both. 20 seconds remaining. 5-4 the lead. The Blackman brothers combining for the 5 points. Here's Julian. Has that ball stolen. Johnson ahead to Walker with 10 seconds. Blocked by Kemp. Kemp with the follow. On the push now with Julian. Julian sent out Cragen for the lead at the quarter. would have extended the lead. At the end of one, it's Layton 5, Viewmont 4. Start of the second quarter, and we start with Viewmont. Outside with Richens, inside to Johnson. Johnson traveled. Turnover, and we'll go the other way. Up the floor with the Lancers. Armistead in the corner to Cragen. Feed to Dries Blackman. Blackman outside Armistead. He'll send off of the foot of Johnson. We'll stay here. Here's Julian. Trap comes, kicks to Dries. Dries working on the dribble. Send out to Kemp. Kemp cross court. Armistead. Armistead for three. And it goes in for Boston Armistead. And it's an 8-point lead for the Lancers. Here's Hadlock. Hadlock up top with Hewish. And now Austin Johnson. Give it up to Walker. Flyby from Blackman. And the long range two is good for Jake Walker. Mentioned he had 5 threes. That was the comeback was put on by Viewmont against Lone Peak. It was Walker lighting it up from the outside. And it's now a 2-point game. Cragen up top at Armistead. Back to Cragen, high post Kemp. Blackman picks up the loose ball, pulls for three off the mark. Tipped out, Dries, taken by Kemp. And now Dries along the baseline. Sent over to Kemp, who can't. Oh, he does finish. Thought that would bounce out. And Jacoby Kemp gets on the board. And it's back up to a 4-point lead for the Lancers. Second quarter with a little bit more pace than the first. Hand off to Walker. Walker down the lane, terminates. The ball slapped away by Cragen. Sent out to Johnson. Johnson inside Hadlock. And that's a tough call against Armistead. Hewish put the ball in his stomach. Armistead grabs it, and he gets a foul. Hewish to trigger in. And we got a foul away from the ball against Viewmont. And the foul goes against Johnson. Back down the floor. Blackman over to Watts up top. Cragen near side to Julian. Gets it back. Thought about it. 5:45 remaining in the half. Off the screen of Kemp. Kemp pulls for three, and Jacoby Kemp with 5 points in the first half. And it's a 7-point lead for the Lancers, 13-6. Down the floor with Eldridge, guarded by Watts. Here's Hewish. Hewish along the baseline, send up to Walker. Flyby from Julian. Over to Eldridge. Eldridge send back out to Walker. Walker pulls for three, blocked by Blackman. Loose ball to Johnson. Austin Johnson gets it to, it crawls off. Rebound, Walton, correctly called, jump ball. Possession arrow belongs to the Lancers. Up the floor with Julian Blackman. Here's Dries. Dries down the lane. Can't get it to go and gets a foul. And it'll be Blackman going to the line to foul on Walton. First free throw good from Blackman. The second good as well. Dries with 4 first half points. Up the floor with Eldridge. Eldridge over to Hewish. Up top with Walker. Now Eldridge drop it in Walton. Walton going to work on Kemp. Reverse pivot, can't get it to go. Blackman with the board and on the push now with the Lancers. 4.5 remaining in the first half. Blackman pulls. And the rebound to Hewish. Down the floor with Eldridge and the Vikings. Low scoring first half for Viewmont, who ended that Lone Peak game on a roll. Johnson pulls for three. Back rim rebound. Collected by Eldridge. Eldridge sent out to Walker. Walker along the baseline. Gets into Kemp. No call on the travel. Sent out Hewish. Hewish inside out to Johnson. Along the baseline. Johnson up top, three from Walker. And Jake Walker knocks down his first three, and a timely three at that. 6-point game. Cashed in on the non-travel call. And Walker buries the three. 3:40 remaining in the first half. Blackman up top to Kemp. Kemp near side to Cragen. Cragen cross court to Watts. Blackman back to Watts. Watts along the baseline. Send out Cragen. Cragen lob in to Kemp. He'll pull, and it rolls in. 7 first half points for Jacoby Kemp. And an 8-point lead now for Layton. Down the floor, here's Hewish. Loses the handle, does Eldridge. Picked up by Cragen. Cragen is fouled, and it rolls off. It'll be 2 free throws for Matt Cragen. Mason Huff comes on for Cragen, who has both free throws, and it's a 10-point lead for Layton. Up the floor now with Eldridge. Out to Hewish. Back up top. Eldridge. Now Austin Johnson. Johnson terminates and kicks up top to Walker. Smith cycles over to Eldridge. Trying to go inside to Walker. We got a foul on Therese Blackman. It'll be his second, team's 5th. Walker lobs into Johnson up top with Eldridge. 10-point lead for Layton. Out to Johnson. Johnson pulls for the deep 3, and Austin Johnson from way downtown. Johnson now with 7.5. High post Edwards. And we're going to have a foul on Walton. Got him with a body. What the call's going to be. No, they're going to have it on Walker on the drive. It'll be 2 free throws for Cody Edwards. And the second good as well. Great crowd on hand here for Layton and Viewmont. This game's nicely located for Region 1, who put 3 of 4 teams in the semis. That pass goes through Hadlock. Turnover, and we'll go back to Layton. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Down the floor with Layton. Blackman over to Huff. Up top with Watts. Back to Huff. Lob in to Kemp. Kemp fall away. Jay short. And a foul on the rebound. I think they're going to get that on Edwards. Up the floor now, Eldridge with 1:40 remaining in the half. Hand off to Johnson. Johnson up top now, Walker. Walker outside to Smith. Smith drop it in to Walton. Walton going to work, and he shuffled his feet. Travel. 1 too many steps from Walton. Layton looking to extend their 9-point lead. Off the screen, Blackman. Up top, Edwards. And now an offensive foul on Jacoby Kemp as he went down the side of the lane. And we'll go back with Viewmont. 7th team foul on Layton. It'll be 1-on-1 free throws for Viewmont. 1:05 remaining in the first half. Walker off the screen of Johnson. Walker crossover. We got a foul on the floor, and that'll be 1-on-1 free throws. First free throw good, and the second good as well from Walker. As Walker and Johnson have combined for all the points from Viewmont here in the first half. 50 seconds remaining. Here's Watts in the corner to Huff. Now Kemp, and Kemp working on the dribble, is fouled on the floor. 15th foul against Viewmont. Inbound in to Blackman, 45 seconds remaining. Blackman cross court to Huff. On the baseline to Cragen. Now up top with Blackman. .30 seconds remaining here in the first half. Blackman sent out to Cragen, back to Julian. Lancers going to hold for the final shot. 20 seconds. Send out to Watts. Watts with 10 seconds. Send back to Julian. Julian, Jacoby Kemp, pull for 3. And Jacoby Kemp from downtown. 3 seconds remaining. Quick up the floor now. Walker. He'll count if it goes. And at the half, it's Layton 24, Viewmont 14.
High School Rewind is excited to have Nudge as our Player of the Game sponsor. Nudge is one of the fastest growing companies in Utah Valley. With over 500 employees, Nudge is one of the largest contributors of volunteer community outreach programs. To learn more about Nudge and their program, visit www.nudge.com.
Start of third quarter, and we'll start with Viewmont. Walker and Johnson combined for all 14 points for Viewmont. 7 points apiece. Eldridge over to Johnson. Jerice Blackman out there with him. Up top now, Jameson Smith back to Eldridge. Up top, Austin Johnson got room, pulls, and hits. 10 points for Austin Johnson. Up the floor now with Julian Blackman. Here's Jerice at the second quarter with 2 fouls. Roberts back up top to Jerice, over to Julian. Blackman straight away. Give it up to Roberts. Looking into Kemp. Kemp, the leading scorer for Layton, had 10 points in the first half, including that 3 at the buzzer. It's stolen by Viewmont on the push now with the Vikings. Here's Walker. A tough call against Julian Blackman. Will inbound near side. Smith inbounds in through the hands of Johnson. Ahead now, Dallin Watts, and Watts will lay it up and in.
Number 12, Dallin Watts, assisted by Julian Blackman for Layton.
First points for Dallin Watts. 9-point lead for Layton. Up top with Johnson. Johnson drive the lane, lost the handle. Walker will back it out. Up top with Smith. Now Eldridge. Eldridge drop it in. Walker. And a foul away from the ball again against Layton. 6:25 remaining in the third quarter. 9-point lead for the Lancers. Here's Smith. Did not use the screen of Hadlock. Here's Walker. Walker floated off the glass and in.
Number 10, Jake Walker.
Seven-point game down the floor at the Lancers. Julian Blackman. Down the lane. Sent out to Kemp. Kemp out to Watts. Pulls for 3. Watts short on the shot. Rebound taken by Smith. On the push now with Viewmont. He'll reverse out and hand off to Walker. And he'll set up the offense for Coach Emery. 5:40 remaining in the third. Off the screen, a Hadlock. Eldridge drives. Sent out Johnson. Blocked by Jerice Blackman. Jerice with a swat. Will inbound near side. Going to inbound. Got to get it in. Does to Johnson. Ball on the baseline. Leaves it for Walker. Walker with the flyby over Kemp. Can get it to go. And the rebound and the push with Layton. Blackman sent in the corner. Watts for 3. Dallin Watts from downtown. And he has 5 points in the third quarter. Back up to a 7-point lead. 26-19 the lead for the Lancers. 5:10 remaining in the third quarter. In the corner to Smith. Smith now to Walker. Walker up top, Eldridge. 5 minutes remaining in the quarter. Hadlock, drop it into Walker. Send out to Smith. Walker, Johnson, now Eldridge. Deliberate offense here from the Vikings. Walker terminates that, slapped away. On the push now with Julian, a foul on Walker, his second, team's first in the second half. Out of the timeout. Up the floor now with Blackman and the Lancers. Julian working on Eldridge. Send out to Watts. Watts tried to lob it into Cragen. He got to it. Cragen fall away. Jay is good. 4 points for Cragen. Had 2 in the first half. Smith up top to Johnson. Outside Walker. Walker. Give it up top. That was Lewis Johnson. Jameson Smith hanging on into the corner to Johnson. Austin working on the dribble on Jerice Blackman, and they get Blackman with the touch foul.
The man down along the baseline. 12-point lead for the Lancers. Inbound to Johnson, back to Walker. And up top with Eldridge. They're poked away there by Watts. Here's Lewis Johnson, up top Austin Johnson. On the angle, Cole Hewish. Hewish sent out to Eldridge. And now Austin Johnson. Up top with Walker, 3.5 remaining in the third. Off the bump, there's a foul. They've been calling it all second half. Second personal against Julian Blackman. Remember correctly, we had 1 or 2 personal foul or team fouls in the first quarter as Austin Johnson lays it up and in. We got 5 here in the start of the third, and I don't think play's changed that much. Hasn't gotten that much more physical. Whistles started coming out. And it's 5 team fouls to Layton, 1 to Viewmont, with 3:05 remaining in the third. Here's Cragen. Layton looking to extend this lead. Cragen terminates, drop it to Edwards. Edwards. And now Layton, a beneficiary of the call. It'll be a man along the far side. Third on Walker. It's a big foul. As he and Austin Johnson still combined for all the points for Viewmont. There's a steal by Hewish, picked up by Eldridge, and a foul. And I think Viewmont would rather have had the play, although it was a block on this end. It'll be a man along the far side. 2:40 remaining in the third quarter. Eldridge give it up to Johnson at the junction. Out to Walker. And then a foul on Watts. So a foul on Watts. First was good from Walker, second good as well. Was the first on Watts. It's a 17th foul on Layton. Viewmont will be in the penalty entire fourth quarter, including the last 2:25 here in the third. Blackman floated up off the mark. Rebound taken by Austin Johnson on the push now with Eldridge. Eldridge drives, float off the glass and in. Nice take and finish by Brayden Eldridge. And the first non-Johnson or Walker points for Viewmont. 6-point game, 31-25 inside of 2 minutes. Sent out Watts for 3. Rebound Eldridge. On the push now the Vikings. Eldridge going to take it himself. Off the window, too strong. Tipped up and rebound out of bounds off of Layton. Eldridge had 2 guys on a player on each side, and he chose to take it himself. It'll be inbound on the baseline. Inbound. Hewish. Into Johnson off the window and in. 4-point ball game. Here's the run for the Vikings. It was late in the third quarter against Lone Peak. Here we are late in the third quarter against Layton. It was another 10-point deficit. Now cut down to 4. Blackman floated up and a foul. Foul on Johnson. It'll be free throws for Julian Blackman. Blackman got the first, the third team foul on Viewmont. The second on Austin Johnson. And the second rolls off. 5-point game. Up the floor with Brayden Eldridge. Eldridge hanging. Has that one slapped away by Blackman. Blackman with the steal going the other way. Eldridge on his hip. And a foul. And it'll be Julian Blackman going back to the line for 2. The foul on Eldridge. His second, the team fourth. Blackman got the first. And rolls in the second. Back up the floor with Viewmont trailing by 7. 6 points for Julian Blackman. Oh, nice cut on the backside. Johnson swatted. And the rebound to Armistead. The way the calls have gone in the third quarter, I'm shocked he's not at the line. An interesting time to swallow the whistle down the floor with 50 seconds. 45 now. Blackman hard to the hole and a charge. Lewis Johnson draws the charge. That is the third on Julian Blackman. 40 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Viewmont can close this down to 5 or 4 with a 3. Outside with Eldridge. Up top, Lewis Johnson. Now Cole Hewish.
Hewish up top. Walker's got room. Pulls for three. And it rolls off. Rebound taken by Cragen. And another foul on Viewmont. And it'll be the 15th foul against the Vikings. So after the foul on the board, down the floor with the Lancers leading by 7, looking to extend. Off the screen, a Kemp. Up top, Kemp. Over Armistead for three. Off the mark, rebound loose. Taken by Edwards, 5 seconds. Edwards loses the handle. Kemp with 4. 3. Kemp pulls for 3. Off the mark, tipped up. And that'll do it for the third. The Layton Lancers are 1 quarter away from moving on to the 5A state championship. They lead Viewmont 34-27 heading the fourth and final frame. Start of the fourth quarter with the Lancers. Cross court Armistead. Cragen on the baseline. Blackman had that one swatted away by Walker, still loose. And a foul. When Johnson came on top, they're going to get a timeout. Johnson bailed out on the foul. That'll be the 16th foul. And it's timeout Layton, 7:43 remaining in the fourth. Enter in out of the timeout to Julian Blackman. Out to Jerice, who sat with foul trouble. Got 3 fouls. Be key here in the fourth quarter, pardon me. Blackman, kick out to Armistead. Armistead. Now to Julian Blackman. Couple keys here. Layton leading by 7. What they choose to do in the final quarter, and then how the officiating will go. There's a steal by Walker. You can't sit back and back your way into a championship. As Walker with the steal goes down the floor and lays it up and in. Quick it down the floor. Here's Jerice trying to get the dunk, couldn't get it. Takes his board and one. He has benefited with a foul on Lewis Johnson, and it'll be a +1 for Jerice Blackman. So Blackman for the +1. 37-29 the lead for Layton. Minute into the fourth quarter. Back down the floor with the Vikings. Outside with Walker. Does he have some more fourth quarter heroics in him? Johnson splits the double, lays it up and in. Austin Johnson was 16 now. 6-point game, 37-31. Julian working on Eldridge. They lose the handle, hands back Jerice. 6.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Armistead drives, send out Blackman. Back up top, Jerice Blackman. He'll drive the lane, give it off to Cragen. Cragen trying to get it to Kemp off his foot. Down the floor with the Vikings. Walker along the bases, trapped. And timeout, Coach Emery. 6:11 remaining in the fourth. Layton 37, Viewmont 31. Smith triggers in to Johnson. He terminates out to Eldridge. And now up top with Walker. Viewmont hanging around. This game is eerily like the Lone Peak game. Smith. Up top, Walker. Jerice Blackman out there with him. As they try to get it in, Armistead with a tip. Eldridge drives. Hands back Johnson. Now to Jameson Smith in the corner. Austin Johnson blocked by Julian Blackman. It's foul number 4. It'll be 3 free throws for Austin Johnson. Johnson hit the first 2. 9th team foul on Layton. It'll be double bonus for the last 5:42. Johnson hits all 3, and it's a 3-point game. 37-34. Julian playing with 4 fouls. Sent out to Watts. Now high post to Kemp. Now out to Julian. Julian on the drive. Sent out Cragen for 3. Matt Cragen from downtown. Hold it up for a little bit longer, Cragen. 7 points, and it's back up to 6. He's gonna let you know he got his hand in the cookie jar. Fall through. And a turnover from Eldridge. And we'll go back to Layton. 6-point lead. 5 minutes remaining out of the turnover. Down the floor, Blackman drive the lane. That could have been foul number 5 and a block. That is a delayed whistle if there ever was one. It will be 1-on-1 free throws for Julian Blackman. Blackman can't get the front end to go. Rebound taken by Austin Johnson. Put it down the floor. Eldridge. Out to Walker. Watts all over him. Up top to Smith. Off the screen. Yep, moving screen. He got in there late. Foul on Johnson. We'll go the other way. Back down the floor. 6-point lead for Layton. 4.5 remaining in the fourth quarter of the 5A semi. Watts sent out. Nobody home. Blackman tracks it down. Saves it in. Dallin Watts right there. The winner to take on Brighton. And Layton going to milk the clock. As Blackman sends out Watts. Watts for three, and it rolls out. Would have been his third of the half. Up the floor, Eldridge. Can Viewmont take advantage? Eldridge drives the lane. Floated up, short, rolls off. Loose and taken by Blackman. He hands off to Cragen. And we go back down the floor with Viewmont. Coach Miller tell him to slow it up. 3:45 on a rolling clock here in the fourth quarter. Layton has not been to a semifinal since 1998. Down the lane, Blackman sent out Jerice. Jerice working on the dribble. Sent out to Julian. Julian Blackman inside out. Again, Watts for three. And again, it's off. And then a foul on the rebound against Cragen. Double bonus, front end good from Johnson. He got the second. 40-36. Back down the floor. Layton with the 4-point lead. Oh, rifles it inside. Drees couldn't handle it. Had it slapped away by Johnson and will stay here. Cragen triggers in to Julian Blackman. Up top, Jerice Blackman. 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Blackman to Kemp. And a bump from Eldridge. Thought there might be a whistle. Wasn't. Cragen thought about three and hangs on. Cragen. Jerice. And Drees lays it up and in. 9 points for Jerice Blackman. He's dealt with foul trouble all game. Points have been at a premium. That's a big bucket. 2:35 remaining in a 6-point lead for Layton. Outside Walker. Drop it inside. Austin Johnson. Johnson in the key. Can't get it to go. Tipped up, tipped out, and then claimed by Jameson Smith. Kicks out Austin Johnson. The corner to Walker. Off the mark. Rebound taken by Hadlock. Hadlock rifles it to Johnson. Johnson floated up and score it. Timeout, Coach Emery. 2:14 remaining in the fourth. 42-38, Layton leads. 4-point lead for Layton. 2:10 remaining in the fourth quarter. In the 5A semifinal. Watts sent along the baseline to Kemp. Trap comes up top. Walker nearly with the steal. Watts on the baseline arm to Cragen. Watts up top, Austin Johnson and Layton. Again, no shot clock high school basketball. They can take this thing all the way down and force fouls with a 2-possession lead and a travel. Watts drug his foot. Turnover, and we'll go with Viewmont. After the turnover, down the floor with Viewmont, trying to close it to 2 and possibly 1 with a 3. Handoff Johnson, up top Hadlock. Hadlock over to Walker. Been a quiet second half from Walker. It's Johnson with 23 points. Outside Smith. Now Hadlock. Hadlock hand off Walker. Watts with him. Walker along the baseline. Up top, Johnson for 3. Austin Johnson from downtown. 42-41. Johnson with 26 points. Layton up the floor. They've been milking the clock for a while. Blackman sent out to Watts. 55 seconds, and again, Coach Miller going to try to take a long possession. 50 seconds now. Viewmont 5-second call, nothing there. Up top with Watts, back to Blackman. Over to Jerice. Jerice down the lane, leaves it to Cragen, sent out to Kemp. 30 seconds down the clock, and you have to foul. And there's the foul on Watts. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. Watts hit the front end. Last one-on-one trip. It'll be double bonus both ways. Last 27 seconds. And he rolls them both. 3-point game, 44-31. Still by Blackman into Watts. Up top to Kemp, now Cragen. They got a foul, and a foul from Lewis Johnson. What a play by Julian Blackman. Uses athleticism and gets the steal. And Layton with a chance to ice it away. Cragen hit the first. 4-point game. Back, rims the second and in. 47-41, quickly up the floor. They're probably up the floor now with Walker. Pulls for three. Leaves a short rebound to Cragen. And he's fouled by Lewis Johnson, and the Layton Lancers are going to move on to the 5A state championship to face Brighton. Cragen hit the first. Last one will make it a 3-possession game, and got it. Timeout, Layton. Lancers starting to celebrate. They're 9 seconds away from heading the 5A title game. 9 seconds left, up the floor with Viewmont. Walker will pull for three. And it's off. Rebound, Jacoby Kemp. And the Layton Lancers moving on to the 5A title game. They had a scare in the first round, a big win in the second, and take care of business against their region rival in the semis. For Viewmont, a tough way to end the year, but they have a memory of knocking out Lone Peak at the buzzer. Josh Richens. And today just didn't have it with Layton. Played very, very well. And Viewmont not able to hit the shot that they were hitting against Lone Peak to pull them in. Pull them up for the win. And for the second 5A semifinal, we're going to go with a team who does not make the championship for our Nudge player of the game. That's Austin Johnson. 26 points when a game had a premium of him. 26 points for Austin Johnson. He is our Nudge player of the game. With over 500 employees, Nudge, one of the fastest growing companies at Utah Valley. To learn more about Nudge and its community outreach programs, go to www.nudge.com. Again, our final score, the Layton Lancers 48, the Viewmont Vikings 41. Our Nudge player of the game, Austin Johnson. For Vince Francis, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us, and continue to follow our coverage of the 2015 5A Boys State Championship Basketball Tournament, a high school rewind only on Xfinity On Demand.